So it's been a little over 2 years ever since the whole Gina Carano situation where she was fired improperly by Kathleen Kennedy and other creatives over at Lucasfilm on such an actual short notice, and of course through social media, which was very unacceptable. Disney themselves, the executives, were actually also very much offended over how Lucasfilm handled the whole scenario and how it cost them a different image by the fans for Disney. And where we stand today, there's been a lot of things happening with Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George to really pick up the broken pieces and put Star Wars back together again. And they're trying their best, working around the clock, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort and a lot of work. And I've always said this before in the past, it's going to take multiple consistent, successful shows to convince the majority of fans that Star Wars is truly back in action. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, with Chapter 21 of Mando Season 3 now out on Disney+, fans are, of course, very much anticipating to see what the last 3 episodes are going to entail. But with that being put out there, one thing that Kathleen Kennedy attempted to do and was actually in the planning stages and making a big proposal to the Disney executives was a plan to literally kill off the character of Cara Dune in order to end the whole Gina Carano situation forever. This took place just recently. We're going to be going over every single detail and why this entire plan by Kennedy herself went sour. Now, we're all very well aware that Disney realizes that Star Wars is like walking on eggshells right now. You can't make a mistake at all, you can't create more backlash, you can't have another Last Jedi scenario. You just cannot. So they're very well aware about what they can and cannot do. Now, with Kathleen Kennedy now holding meetings with Disney executives every single week, she has been bringing up some of her concerns about the direction of the franchise, one of which had a lot to do with Gina Carano's Cara Dune, as she fell into more arguments related to Cara. In the recent meeting, Kathleen Kennedy suggested an easy remedy to the Gina Carano situation, and for all of the fans and executives to just move on, and that Kennedy made a proposal that for her Skeleton Crew series, which by the way is still filming some scenes out there, that she could make it actually canon that Cara Dune was killed off at some point before the events of Skeleton Crew. Kennedy suggested that since they are still filming the series, it would be the perfect opportunity to write in a small piece for one of the characters, explaining Cara Dune's death for Skeleton Crew, which is supposedly taking place after Mandalorian Season 3. However, Disney executives are actually countering Kennedy's request and want nothing to do with all of that. Some of the other executives that are, however, loyal to Kathleen Kennedy took up her offer and felt it was the best technique to put the whole Gina drama to rest once and for all. However, they are in the minority as far as executives go, with the board getting ready to fire more executives as of late to reshape Disney with tons of layoffs on the way in the coming months. Disney cannot risk another show to create backlash. And you know what, guys, that is true. You cannot get more backlash with Disney. You can't. You know, if they get more backlash with a Star Wars show, for example, Disney may very well be in an extreme bad situation with Star Wars where they might not be able to turn it around, period, the end. So that's why, like I said before, Star Wars right now is like walking on eggshells. You cannot have another Last Jedi situation. And so, when you look at stuff like this, I think that, given that the executives view the Ahsoka series as the home run show for Disney+, in fact, we've talked about this before, they are aiming to make this the new flagship series, quote-unquote, over The Mandalorian, because they realize that most fans, a lot of fans, love the mythology. You know, we're talking about the Jedi, the Force, the Cosmic Force, the Netherworld, lightsabers, stuff like that. Just that whole, you know, aesthetic of the franchise is what fans really grew up with. And I'm not saying that The Mandalorian itself is bad in nature. I'm just saying that Disney finally realizes that those are the things that a lot of people really grew up with, you know, in the originals and the prequels, that type of lore. And that's why the Ahsoka series is aiming to become the new flagship show. It already is getting a second season with the potential of getting a third one as well. So anyways, moving on to the next big thing here. On top of this, alright, it's why Bob Iger convinced most of the executives to steer clear from Kennedy's request. This is the biggest telltale that Kennedy does not and never wanted Gina's character to return and wanted her destroyed to leave the situation in the rearview mirror. This has been an ongoing discussion between Kennedy and Disney, and this proposal to kill off the character is a very recent one that made things seem desperate for Kathleen. Now, with Skeleton Crew still running into problems, her technique of announcing Cara's death would have only put the show in a worse situation, and Disney realized that. Now, simply put, this was a big attempt, Kennedy's endgame, if you will, to take out Cara Dune from any further stories or even holding references at all in future Star Wars shows at all of that. So here's the other thing that I think fans need to really realize is that John and Dave already have a big plan to bring back Cara Dune in two big ways for starters. Number one, they are reinventing Rangers of the New Republic. It's going to get a brand new title, a somewhat tweaked plot, and the return of Cara Dune. Alright? That's actually happening right now as we speak, and also, they are planning to actually revive her deleted scenes from Mando Season 2 in a planned special edition of Season 2 to be unveiled on Disney Plus next year, 2024. So those are the two big starting points. Of course, Mando 4 is still going on, but they're trying to decide if they want to wait for Rangers first, or if they want to stick with Mando 4 first, and then skip the Rangers for her first appearance again. So, it's a very interesting thing that Kathleen Kennedy really went out of her way to the Disney executives and made this hard proposal to kill off the character of Cara Dune by reference in the Skeleton Crew series. But here's the problem, alright? We know that if you just reference a character's death, it doesn't really mean anything. John and Dave could easily retcon that if they really wanted to. I don't think it would have ended things in the long run anyway, because, let's face it, if it's going by word of mouth, like if you have a character saying, we've heard Cara Dune from Special Forces perished, or something like that, something nuts, right? John and Dave can easily step in with another show and make it like she faked her death or something like that. So it's kind of pointless to bring up such a proposal like that unless she's, gonna die on screen or something like that. It's pointless. It really is. That's just my point of view on things. That's my 2 cents. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that. But I just feel like Kathleen Kennedy's proposal, even if it were to be accepted, it really wouldn't go anywhere. It would only make the fans very mad, and it would drive away more supporters of Star Wars in general. So, look, I've always said this before, there's a lot of fans that love and hate Gina Carano, and that's fine. Everyone has their view on things. You're not going to change people's minds. Let's just, be honest there. So they do have to really kind of just be careful with what they're doing and how they're going to implement the return of Gina, and that's of course happening as we speak. So anyways guys, fill me in below everything related to this, what you guys think about the situation, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.